But honestly, that's why, even now today, that's why I have like muscles in my arms and stuff. When you work out, if you work out to a certain extent, even though the muscles will degrade over time, they're never going to fully go away. And that's why even to this day, I still have some, muscles and everything in my upper body versus some people have nothing. They got those noodle arms, right? Well, I don't have noodle arms.
Only my detractors care. So we said, hey, let's hit our goal for today and Phil will do the push-ups. Guess what didn't happen? We didn't get any contributions at all for it.
Yes, I covered this. It was hilarious, and I have to do a video on it. What you don't know is that Lashero, Kakashi, Astral, Pope Kami, and Lord Diaz are all watching me, and thereby you, make this right now, because it's the first ever members-only video I've made, so nifty. Anyway, Phil's antics, words, little man in brown uniform with small mustache rant yesterday was too good not to cover again, but this time in a standard video format. With that, it's time to steal Snort Hogan's work again. I chose to broke the law.
Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort,
Hogan. Drip.
snort, snort.
I got the drip. Go.
I received a $4.90 tip. Here you go. Someone has made a suggestion. You guys ready for this suggestion? So this is an anonymous $4.90 tipper, first off, okay? So that makes it the top tip of the day. Here is what they're suggesting. I'm curious how everyone's going to react to this. I'm going to just read this right now, okay? So everyone listen up. Everyone watching me on my stream on YouTube, everyone watching me on my stream on Kick, and get this is actually a message to the people who are now watching me live restreamed as well. Yes, I'm serious. This is a message to everyone from this tipper. Are you ready? Here we go. Since potentially thousands of people are currently watching you on restreams, would you consider doing a segment that says the following? You like to watch me on other channels, but since I'm creating the content that you watch and obviously you enjoy it, consider supporting me anonymously.
Yeah, no, that's not how this works, Phil. First, you're under the notion that this is something that I, or other detractors for that matter, started doing for funsies. I didn't. It was sheer rage that made me start this channel, first video that I did, which, ironically enough, you just confessed to lying about like the sack of human shit that you are, that being the 25 push-ups. But it's not like I started my channel with the idea of, I know how to make some money, you guys. So I, and no other detractor that I know of, is in your debt, so to speak. We all just happen to comment on you because you're that reprehensible of a person that we all just kind of unified together. It's not really something you want to flex on, but I guess keep digging that grave, Phil.
I understand that you can't use your real name and you can't actually use your identity because in your circles, people will probably make fun of you. But if you legitimately like watching me, even for malicious purposes of making fun of me on a restreamer, please still support my content anonymously. Now, here's the deal. I actually believe that some people do this already, okay? I would guess that a lot of these people who do these anonymous tips, or some of these people who do these tips, say this disgusting name or say this stupid thing, I bet that that's those people. I wouldn't even be shocked at all to hear that it's those people, right? We get tons of anonymous contributions. We get anonymous subs, we get anonymous tips, right? All the time. But very much so, I think those who even restream me would admit, even if you don't like me, you can admit, I don't sit here shilling crap products to my audience and try to get them to buy garbage because I respect them more than that.
Fucking hard stop, Phil. You don't shill garbage products. Your show is your final product and is the closest thing to garbage by definition, according to Merriam-Webster, who, under subpoint B, says garbage is, quote, useless material. No one gets anything from your streams, Phil. There's no education coming from you. To the contrary, you learn from your chat. Your entertainment is so bad you spawned a new word, that word being non-tent. I believe that's a big ups to Atlas, or if he didn't spawn that word, he was the first one I knew to say it. But yeah, Phil, you are the embodiment of unnecessary or useless. So when you say you don't shill things, that's a fucking lie by the nature of your channel. But then we get into your fucking shit products, mugs and shirts and other useless shit that you yourself brag has a significant markup to generate more money for you. I shit you not when I say that you talking up your own crap products is the literal definition of the word shill. How a man can be so egocentric yet not able to see he is what he claims to hate will forever baffle me.
I would much rather sit here and ask directly for contributions and crowdfunding than say, hey, buy a fucking shitty razor or buy overpriced cookies or, buy this stupid jersey or do a food subscription plan. And because of that, I would hope that people understand that and would possibly come by and say, even though necessarily I don't love Phil at all moments, there are times when I like his content and certainly I like laughing at him with the community. So I want that to continue. So I'm going to support it.
But Phil, with all those examples, I get something. It may be shit, but it's a physical item or some kind of service. I may go into the math more on this later, but what Phil is asking for here is more like the business model of Netflix or Hulu. He wants the viewer to keep paying money just to watch him. So when I put up shitty razor or food plan against watching Phil, I gotta say, slice the fuck out of my face and give me food poisoning. It's a better value than giving Phil money.
And then they would every once in a while become a member or do an anonymous tip or give some subs on Kick, right? Yeah, but here's the thing. Do I necessarily need to go ahead and do that? Think about it. Do I really need to ask out specifically to that audience, hey, please contribute? I think those people who genuinely like the content know who they are, and they're going to come by eventually and maybe do that if they're ever going to. I don't think that my asking for that is actually going to help anything. I don't think that, wow, I've had a mind-blowing idea. Phil has asked me, someone watching a restream, to contribute, and now because he did, I'm going to go contribute now. I don't think that's going to happen. Here, you ready? We'll give it a shot. This message is directly to everyone watching me on a restream. I know that you probably don't love me, but you probably get some value in watching my content, whether it's ripping it apart or making fun of me or whatever it is. Please understand that your support allows it to continue. Whether it's for good or bad reasons, whether you actually enjoy it for good reasons or you like making fun of me, the support still keeps it rolling. So please come by right now and support my content with an anonymous tip, or how about this, some subs on Kick, because we have absolutely nothing on Kick this morning.
And there was much rejoicing.
There are a bunch of bums and schlubs over there, and they're not supporting the content. So maybe you can pick up the slack for that.
To remind you, the quote that I'm going to be referencing from Phil was, quote, "Please understand that your support allows it to continue," end quote. Bitch, we know. That's the whole point. It's why no one will give you money, or shouldn't give you money, from the detractor community. The only forgivable method is to steal, tactically distribute memberships for 3.8 cents. Not 38 cents, you dumbass. We, or perhaps I, should specify, I don't want you to continue. I'd be elated to learn that YouTube shut you down, or your PC melted due to heat, or that you're otherwise unable to stream. It means that those who you victimize, like those with mental disabilities, can't be victimized by you for the time in which you're offline. You're basically pitching ice to Eskimos, dude.
There you go. Okay, now let's see what happens. Will tons of fun start rolling in this very moment? Let's find out. I received a $5 tip. Thank you. Who is this? So this person says, to clarify, restreamers pull numbers and are active watching everything you're live. And I've seen them gift subs, gift money to the host and so on. Many just chill and actually respond to your opinions on games and events. Most are negative assholes. Some seem to enjoy the community. You enable them to have that because they're piggybacking on you. So as social beings, it's reasonable, in my opinion, to direct their attention every now and then to the reality that you enable them to community they so desire and enjoy off of the mother channel. Of course.
The logical progression here is nothing short of mentally lacking, let's say. The claim that detractors are, quote, piggybacking, end quote, on Phil is the wrong term for what this absolute idiot is trying to get across. He's saying that the relationship between Phil and the detractors is parasitic. This is not accurate. It's more of invader versus defender. I don't know of a single detractor that bases their entire life, income, social status, or even recreational time solely on the pig roach. We, the detractors, don't need Phil. Hell, we don't want Phil. You can fucking have him. But what we don't want is for Phil to further victimize people without repercussion or without at least calling him out on it. A more appropriate analogy that I mentioned on stream would be a news network that is spun up for the sole purpose of documenting war crimes. After hearing about this news station, Phil, the dictator from hell, sends a message to them saying, if I wasn't pillaging town and torturing my citizens, you wouldn't have the money that you make off your news broadcasts. Do you see how insane that sounds?
Here's the thing, though, all right? So thanks for the $5 tip. I appreciate that. You're right. And what you're saying is very reasonable, okay? And very smart, actually, and intelligent. Like, if you're watching someone make fun of someone, even if you don't like the person, understand that that person must be supported, because if they're not, they will not continue to make the content that you like to make fun of. So you should, every once in a while, support it regardless, right? So there you go. But the thing is, what you're saying is intelligent. And I hate to say it, a lot of people who watch something just to crap on it are not intelligent people. Intelligent people are people who have lives, have constructive, positive things going on for themselves, and families, relationships, jobs and careers, hobbies. They don't have time to just sit around and dump on people 24/7. The people who have time to do that are miserable wretches. That's the truth, is that this entire online culture of people who hate watch, the reason they hate watch is because they don't have a good life for themselves. If they did, they wouldn't have to spend time hating on others' lives. So they really don't have that rational level of thought in their heads to say, oh yeah, well, it's common sense to think, I like making fun of Phil. Phil needs support to stay in business. Let me support his business so we can make fun of him more, right?
You dense motherfucker!
Phil, I don't want to keep making fun of you. I mean, I'm going to, since you're never going to change, but honestly, I do. I want you to change. I want Kat to have a real, actual jockey, husband. What did I say? But no, I want you to have a life that you earned, not one that you begged for. But no, I am not giving you 1 red cent of support for a number of reasons. 1, my videos and the bits I've created, that was actual work. Far more work than just turning on a fucking camera and pressing stream. 2, that work, that's mine, not yours. You haven't earned my respect, my sympathy, or any other way to tug at my wallet. Why would you think I'd open it for you? And 3, I want your channel to fail. I don't know how much more black and white I can put this. Are we clear where I stand, Phil? I want to make sure there's no confusion on this topic.
Here's a perfect example. For years, there was this silly meme about me doing push-ups, okay? 2 weeks ago on Smart Guys, PPP and I set this up that I was going to do push-ups, but people needed to support it. You've wanted to see me do push-ups and make fun of me doing push-ups for how many years, okay? Here's the truth. For me, it's no big deal. I don't care. I don't care if I can get on this floor and do 20 push-ups or not.
You can't.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't even factor into me or my life. If I can do them, great.
You can't.
If I can't, it doesn't matter. I can still do my work. I can still have a fun life. I don't care if I can do push-ups.
You can't.
Only my detractors care. So we said, hey, let's hit our goal for today and Phil will do the push-ups. Guess what didn't happen? We didn't get any contributions at all for it.
And there was much rejoicing.
Now that's the content they claim they want, right? They've claimed for how many years we want the push-ups because we want to make fun of Phil doing push-ups. But then when it's time to put the money where the mouth is, 0 is received.
What universe is he in? I can only speak for myself, but I wanted the push-ups so you would finally realize that you are, in fact, a blob of dough with no strength and could stop pretending to be a strong badass. Now, why would I pay you to do push-ups if the goal is for you to realize that you're a fat piece of shit? All that would do is enable you to buy more DoorDash, drink more gin, and make more excuses about why you can't go to a gym. Also, what is this bit about content they claim they want? We don't want your content. We want you to own up to your past faults. We want you to stop being a cringe lord. We want you to stop being a victim. But no one is going to pay you to do those things, Phil. Like, how damaged is your perception of society that you think like this? And that question wasn't a bit. That was a genuine who hurt you sis kind of question. Seek help, Phil.
So this is the point. It's not that these people, these hate watchers, right? The reason that they hate watch is to feel better about themselves because they're miserable wretches and embarrassments to humanity.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Themselves because they're miserable wretches and embarrassments to humanity. That's not me actually like insulting them. That's me being truthful. People don't watch people to make fun of them unless they have something bad going on in their own life they need to feel better about. People who are busy with positive things don't have time to dump on others 24/7. So in that regard, that's why they're not going to pay to see what they want, because then if you pay, you feel like, oh no, I just improved the life of the person who I'm trying to bring down. You kind of see what I'm saying here? Like, they need to degrade someone to feel better about themselves. So if they supported that person, they would feel like they're improving the person they're trying to degrade.
Whoa. I don't need to rip on you to feel better about myself. Just watching you makes me feel better about myself. However, a rare lowercase w for Phil, he is 100% accurate in that I don't want to make his life better financially. Ever. But the reasons I don't want to give you money isn't because I would say, oh no, I improved your life. It's because you haven't earned it. But more importantly, I get nothing out of it. Watching you scam your way out of doing earth fucks, because those were not push-ups that we saw on stream, isn't worth 1 penny, much less $300. And the fact you think it is just shows how bad your delusions of grandeur are. How bad are said delusions? I mean, that picture I used in the previous bit and at the start of the stream, I mean, you realized you volunteered to do that, right, Phil? No one forced you to, is there a weaker version of the word flex? No? No? Okay, well, no one forced you to flex on stream, and yet you did. What more evidence do you need, Phil?
At least that's my take, right? Maybe I'm wrong. But the funny part is, some people actually do come by after some time and be like, you know, Phil, out of all that hate watching and all the crap, I'm sorry for it. And I just want to let you know, I'm moving forward positively. Either I'm not going to watch you at all anymore, or I've actually started watching you positively on your own raw content and I've become a fan. I'm not watching the regurgitation, the restream, or the hater. I'm actually coming by and becoming a viewer of yours now that's going to hang out and support you. That's happened. I get those kind of messages quite frequently.
No, you don't.
Well,
I'd say probably a couple times a month. I'll get someone who reaches out to me.
No, you don't.
well,
Via private means and says, just so you know, I used to be one of these really dedicated haters, but now I've seen the error of my ways. I think that it's stupid and I'm going to move forward, positively. Well, right. Cracker Jacks is kind of like a bully in school. Exactly. Remember I told you the story? When I was in high school, I was bullied by this guy. All right. And then years later, I think I was either in like my late years of going to university, whatever. I was like in my early 20s. The guy actually reached out to me online and personally apologized to me for being a bully in high school. And I was like, just so you know, I appreciate it, but you didn't have to because I don't really care. It didn't really bother me. You know what I mean?
You can ask my members who watched as I did the no you don't bits just a second ago. I didn't look forward in the video to this point. I had completely forgotten that Phil made the goddamn Billy Madison plotline a part of his life. If you've been living under a rock and haven't seen it, Adam Sandler calls a guy he bullied in elementary school and apologizes. What's even more on the nose is the guy who he called immediately scratches his name off a list of people to kill and then starts putting lipstick on. Life imitates art, apparently.
Fanboys, woo!
But that was nice. But that's what I mean. These people are essentially anonymous bullies. And the reason they do it is because they need to feel better about themselves because they're miserable wretches. So in a way, you got to feel bad for those people because imagine if your whole life was just dumping on someone. That's all you did all day. What constructive things? That's your life you're wasting. Do you understand that? You're literally wasting your entire life away. And one day you're going to die.
oh man, oh God, oh man, oh God, oh man, oh God, oh man.
And you're going to say, oh shit, I spent years of my life sitting around with a community of nut jobs, dumping on someone on the internet when I could have done things for myself that would have improved my own life situation. Instead of living in a shitty small place in squalor, I could have went out and I could have got a job. I could have worked my ass off. I could have had a relationship with a significant other. I could have made amends with my friends and family members and went out and had a good time. But instead, I was at home watching other people make fun of Dark Side Phil.
The fact he thinks that people don't have a job, romantic relationships, good relations with friends and family, and that people go hermit mode to detract on Phil is the 5-star Michelin restaurant meal of irony. Given that, Phil doesn't have a job, Phil's romantic relationship involves a roommate and likely a cuck chair, his relationship with his father is him being upset that he gets sent fishing pictures by his dad, while Christ knows about his mother who combed his hair until he was 17. Lastly, the fact that this personification of hypocrisy only leaves his house once a fucking week. I mean, you're literally the person you're describing, Phil. Fuck, look in a mirror.
Who's the real loser in this situation? The guy who's living large, having a great life, enjoying his content, enjoying his time with his viewers, and making bank doing it, and just, having positivity and fun? Or the person who's on the other end of it, who all you can do is try to bring me down and fail every single day? And then your life is going to be the one that's squandered, not mine. I'm enjoying my life. Every day that I'm on the stream, I'm having a great time. Obviously not you. So, I mean, again, it's all about kind of like self-awareness. People who are self-aware, you get to that certain age or that certain level of maturity in your life, and you realize some certain things, right? You know what it really is? If you get to a certain age, here's the truth. All right, here's some real talk from Phil Burnell, not Dark Side Phil, but here's some real talk from Phil Burnell right now. At one point in your life, you're going to get old enough where people around you, sadly, are going to start to get sick and pass away. It happened to me probably around the early 2010s when some of my family members started to get ill with cancer and things like that and pass away. And when that happened, all of a sudden, reality smacked me right in the face. I'm not invincible. I'm not immortal. I'm going to get older. I'm going to die.
And there was much rejoicing.
I have limited time on this planet, and I need to start making the best of it instead of just saying, fuck it all, it's all meaningless, and squandering it all. And when that happened, okay, things changed for me. I started to realize it's time to stop being a negative, toxic jerk. So take your meme and shove it up your fucking ass. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up and eat it. Eat it. Give me your mailing address. I want to mail you a spoon so you can eat shit out of my fucking...
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
And instead, trying to spread positivity amongst the people who I have interactions with, I changed my attitude in the Street Fighter community and started becoming a positive tournament organizer. I stopped being a toxic jerk who crapped on every piece of gameplay I ever did, but instead wanted to make positive, fun, interactive streams with my viewing audience. And this happens as you get older. But I feel like there are some people who never get that moment of self-awareness and awakening where they feel the human condition for the first time. Some people never get it because they're living in this isolated bubble where they actually think that like there's fucking a special snowflake and you know what I mean? Oh, I'm never going to die. Nothing's ever, ever going to happen.
This non-toxic streamer is most well known for his rage-fueled hissy fits at lag, pattern play, realism in games that aren't real enough, puzzle bosses, but also bosses that are too easy, hard gameplay, simple gameplay, boring gameplay, but also gameplay with too much going on. I defy you. Find one game, genre, or hell, really anything, that doesn't send Phil into a childish tantrum, which, ironically enough, usually ends with him somehow being a victim. I mean, look at the spoon rant. That was brought on by one message. And now we're being lectured about maturity from this asshole? Quit fucked, Phil.
So yeah, that's it. And I think you need to reach that level. I think what happens is it'll happen to everyone. Like everyone's going to get to that point in their life. For me, it was about, well, the first realization I had was in my late 20s, all right, when I realized that when I stopped trolling in the Street Fighter community and instead started to do positive things like run tournaments and stuff, that I was feeling much better about myself and everyone liked me, as opposed to previous to then everyone hated my guts and wanted to beat my ass. And I was like, oh yeah, in conversation, rather than it just being about me making content and talking about games, it became about us having a social experience. And when we started doing that, I had this big realization that instead of just being a negative jerk all day, every day, I wanted to spread positivity and I wanted to make an impact on people that mattered.
As is common with video creation, this one took multiple days, so when I started recording this bit, it was after the My Street Fighter 6 night stream where Phil hit the goal but hadn't hit the $300 goal and began to beg like a literal crackhead because of how perfect Friday was to do his marathon. Lest we forget that the whole reason for goals instead of streaks was for higher adaptability, but Mr. Positive here, who had his realization about not being toxic, went full goblin mode because he wants to do it Friday. It works for him. Grit fucked if it doesn't work for you. This isn't about you. This is about the Dents giving $15,000 to Phil, which, by extension, means that he will reward you by doing whatever the fuck he wants. Now, if you're confused about how this is non-toxic, or how it's a reward for his viewers, don't worry. Many of them are confused as well.
And so I changed my content for the better. I changed my commentary. I changed my style of playing games, right? Everything changed. Take a look. When I became a full-time streamer in 2017, how different my content became moving forward after that, since compared to before that. Shut the fuck up! And you know, a lot of people will say, well, everything before that was the golden era. I get that. That was my formative years when I was at my biggest popularity, but I like who I am and what I do today way more than what I did back then, and I would never want to go back to that, all right? So I feel like these people who hate watch, right now, they're at a time in their lives when they're miserable, they're probably younger, they probably don't understand that what they're doing is harmful, not only to me and my community, but harmful to their own selves, right? They're actually wasting their own time on this planet when they could be doing positive, fun things. They could be part of a positive community where everyone hangs out and supports each other, and they actually contribute to the streams, and then I'm able to upgrade my setup and do more stuff and buy more games and do new things.
It was at this point on my stream that I lost my fucking mind. When he said,
and they actually contribute to the streams, and then I'm able to upgrade my setup,
I knew that he was having a narcissistic moment of delusion. This half-wit's idea of positive or meaningful behavior is to hang out with him, contribute to him, so he can buy things.
Behold, my stuff.
I don't understand what his endgame is here. There's no way he can possibly believe that if people stopped watching Raw Phil, King Jad, or any of those other damned dirty detractors that restream him illegally and came to watch Phil on his own channel, that we would somehow be swayed into believing his cult-like teachings. And this is why I think he isolates himself in the Snort fort. We all know that he's thin-skinned, but look at how fast he backs off a topic or a point when Triple P, that's what I call him, pushes back against him. All it would take is a genuine conversation in real life with someone for them to ask, do you really believe that the detractors would give you money for his whole perception of his infallibility to come crashing down? Phil doesn't want that. He wants to remain secure in his belief that he is right 100% of the time, and the only way to do that is to never talk to anyone else.
As opposed to, I sit on someone else's stream who illegally steals his content and is actively trying to take away views and money. Guys, listen to me. If there was no illegal restreaming, I would have over 1,000 viewers on my stream right now. You know that, right? Every stream, Kick would probably have hundreds. YouTube would have thousands.
This is not a flex, Phil. This is a sign that you are insufferable to watch, which is why people don't want to give you the views, but so weird, alien, and cringe that we can't look away. It's like watching two obnoxious drunk rival NFL fans fighting. You can't believe a grown adult can act that way. You're horrified at how they're behaving, but at the same time, it's hilarious. But here's the rub, Phil. You'll notice that nowhere in that description did I say that the people watching it had a burning desire to give the drunken fuckwit $20. That's you. Yeah, we'll watch. Yeah, we'll be horrified, but we're not giving you money. And more to the point, if one of the assholes ran an ad saying, "I'll beat up another member of the rival team on my lawn," I'm not going to that guy's house to watch it.
And think, if I had that level of views and support, instead of that level of people who just clowned on me all day, what we could do. We could have reach. We could actually have impact. We could have videos that people cared about and people would listen to. You know, it would be a very different thing. And I used to have that power.
Yeah, Phil, that power is derived from popularity, not notoriety. When people influence others, it's because those that watch them want to act like them, want to be them. Someone might say, "I saw James Bond drive an Aston Martin. I would love to have one of those." What you don't hear people saying is, "Oh, look, Jack Dougherty wrecked his Lamborghini. I want one of those." And the reason you don't hear that is because Jack Dougherty is an infamous piece of shit. That's you, Phil. For as much as you spout, "I'm positive" or "I'm not toxic," those are just words. Everyone besides your cult sees you for exactly what you are. A physically weak, narcissistic beggar with an inflated ego, exaggerated sense of self-worth, bad hygiene, piss-poor money management skills, and extreme anger problem. Fuck what the detractors are doing. You have your own mess to clean up before you address us, bud.
Until the internet turned me into a negative meme for a decade.
Oh, look, Phil's a victim.
And it's sad that these people can't bust out of that trap, that prison, that mold that they're stuck in, to realize that if they just looked big picture and understood the human condition, they would realize what a waste they are to this planet. Because none of them sitting there doing that are helping anyone. They could be helping themselves and others, but instead it's just waste, waste, waste. It's sad. And again, I've been there. I've absolutely positively been there. So,
objectively speaking, Phil, what are you actually talking about? You've been there, meaning you've changed? Okay, show me how in your content. Show me how you don't beg, don't rage out, don't make yourself a victim to every negative thing that comes your way. Fuck your visuals, because every time someone says you make the same slop content, you say, No, I have a better camera. It's better. I have different sound canceling foam. I have 2 PCs. I'm better. No, you're not, Phil. You're the same piece of shit with a new coat of paint. Everyone can see and smell how disgusting you are. No amount of external changes will make people forget how terrible of a man, husband, son, pet owner, and all-around person you really are.
Anyway, yeah, it's, it is what it is. But yeah, it's funny because you take a look at like a show like Smart Guys, right? Where we are actively trying to do fun segments and fun things with the content that people would want to see, but you notice that there's no support for it because these people are so ingrained and brainwashed to think I have to watch this content on an illegal restreamer and not support Phil, even though supporting Phil would actually keep the content coming that they want. They don't get that because they've been brainwashed because people manipulate them. People like these restreamers literally are manipulating their audiences on a daily basis to be a cult-like mentality of hate towards me so that their gravy train keeps coming in. You notice they're all monetized. You notice they all accept contributions. They're not doing it because they feel like this is a true crusade or good thing that they're doing. They're doing it for the money. That's why, you know what I mean? That's it. They're just fucking grifters. They're a bunch of schlubs. And one day the gravy train's gonna end. Whether it's via the law, whether it's via YouTube rules changing, whatever it's gonna be, it ain't gonna last forever. But they're gonna grift until then. So it's really sad that there are thousands of people out there that could be potential positive people in this community, but instead they're just sitting there in a cult that literally helps no one but the grifters.
This is such a weak attempt at reverse psychology, and isn't he a registered Republican? I mean, that's what I got from his DS politics anyway. Given that, he should hate what he's doing right now. One of the key points of the current right-wing narrative is shaming your opponent won't bring them to your side. And that's what Phil is trying to do here. He said they could be positive people, but they're watching illegal restreamers. Meh! In other words, shame on you. You could be a good person. You just need to think like I do and do what I say, which might work on people with mental handicaps, Phil, but until you debate a known detractor with a vast archive of knowledge, Duty, ALT, or any of the boys on That Being Said, shout out of course, no detractor is going to give you and your cowardice the benefit of the doubt. I've said this before and I'll say it again. You want a real resurgence? Confess to everything. Show your phone, show the transactions. Then, and only then, can the healing begin.
Okay, So Mulsiber says, I'm one of those people. I met you through a mirror channel. Very toxic and vicious people there. I can understand that they don't like or they even hate you, but why hate and attack people that support you? They know nothing about those supporters. Some are even young people, and cheers. Those closeted fans out there who can't man up and admit to themselves that they actually enjoy one streamer or the other and must lie even to themselves. You will forever live at the shadow of what other people think of you. Wow. We're getting some insightful stuff. Some insightful stuff on today's stream, man. That was well said.
This was not insightful. I don't know of anyone that would be sad if Phil got shut down, because it's not about his content. In the 2000s, rage bait or shock bait shows were hyped up. Big Brother, The Real World, hell, Jerry fucking Springer. And for what it was, which was low-effort staged drama, it did really well. Most of the people on the show were disgusting examples of the human race, but the show did well, because the show was highlighting how bad these people were. You don't have that angle, Phil. You're a piece of shit trying to martyr yourself like you're Joan of Arc. Although, you do have tits, Phil, so perhaps identifying with a woman makes sense. But you're trying to garner pity or represent yourself as the hero when the whole time you're the villain. A villain who begs for over $100,000 a year for that matter.
Well said. Mulsiber, good one. And then we got a $5 tip here. So let's see here. Okay, this is the same person who had made the suggestion about appealing to those hate watching on restreams. Okay, it's a $5 tip. And they said, I get where you're coming from. I thought you might appreciate the insight into other communities that revolve around you and actively watch you. And they have dedicated viewership. And I'd be sad to find out if 100% of them are haters. But like you said, probably at least a few percent of people are just hanging around because of you and their communities. Maybe that's because they can be unhinged, but actually appreciate and support even every month. So that's positive. Thank you and have a nice stream. Yeah. Oh, like I said, I legitimately get contacted. All right, by people.
No, you don't.
Well,
who say, I used to be a part of that community, and then I took a step back. Like it took, a lot of them actually say things like, it took a friend or a family member who found out that I was a part of that community and watched a restream and literally said to me, what on earth are you doing with your life? This is like really messed up toxic stuff you're participating in, and you've got to fix this because you're going down a really bad path in your life. I've had people outright say, it's almost like an intervention, but now they've seen the error of their ways and they're sorry. And some people do eventually become actual active fans and viewers, and some are like, I've just decided to move on with my life, but I wanted to apologize.
Boy, isn't it convenient that Phil gets contacted by these people behind the scenes but has no receipts to prove this pathological liar is telling the truth? Whoever could have seen that coming? This is Phil just sticking to his feel ashamed for being a detractor spiel, and I want to know why I should feel that way, honestly. So far I've heard him say that detractors are unhinged, psychopathic, or otherwise bad people, but short of people scamming other detractors out of money, super crazy, I'm looking at you. I don't know of many or any instances where you could point blank point to a detractor and say, see, covering Phil drove him to this madness. And the reason you can't find that is because it's a part of a narrative that is either extreme outliers or the data doesn't exist. Compare this to when Phil says they can't bring up anything or they can't show anything because it doesn't exist, when whatever he's talking about most certainly does exist, or there's at least one detractor that can speak knowledgeably about the subject that he's talking about, which is why he won't talk with any detractor. The coward knows he'd lose.
I appreciate that. I really do. But it's crazy. I mean, no lie. Those communities are like cults.
Oh, hi there, Kettle. Name's Pot. Have we met?
They've become 100% regurgitation. Here's what you do, right? Go to one of those restreams and watch whenever a meme appears. I do something that is a negative meme and watch how literally every person on the stream becomes a fucking parrot or a sheep, and they're all repeating it, and it's like they're completely programmed to react in that way. It's fucked. It's legit fucked. Like, whoa. There's like 1,000 people on this stream and they're all crazy. They've all been programmed to react to that when it happens. Like, what on earth? Like, what is that?
No, Phil, the 1,000 people on the stream all saw the stimulus, you or your behavior. Someone made a joke at your expense, that would be the meme, and all 1,000 people are pointing and laughing at you. That's not brainwashing. That's your behavior and the essence of who you are being mercilessly mocked and ridiculed by 1,000 independent minds. Here, let me put it a different way. Which is more likely, Phil? 1,000 people were all susceptible to brainwashing via meme format. Or you are so weird and fucked in the head that your behavior drove 1,000 people to find you horrible. I'm betting on the latter.
That's not normal human reaction and behavior. It's fucked. It's like you're programmed and sensitized to react that way to that thing. Even when the memes don't make sense. Because there's memes they've made about me that legit are not factually true about anything, but they have repeated them to the point where now it's like we must respond this way when we see or hear this thing. It's like I must respond to the stimuli because I'm programmed that way, even though it doesn't make sense that you're doing it. Did you ever see like the stories of people who've actually been programmed, brainwashed, and all of a sudden they'll react to something and they don't know why? Because they were brainwashed to react to it. That's how these people are, but they don't get it. And they don't understand that the people who brainwash them are profiting on them every single moment. They're getting ad revenue. They're doing super chats. They're throwing the money. It's occultish mental conditioning. They don't get it.
Well, I guess I'm a cult follower then. Although I disagree with many detractors out there about a variety of subjects, but hey, Big Papa Phil said I was a cult member, so it must be true, remember? He said that there are memes that aren't true. He didn't say what the memes were that weren't true. But Phil can't be all bad. He says there are detractors that message him and go over to his side. I mean, he hasn't shown any evidence of that. But Phil says that detractors are all psychopaths or somehow dangerous. Come to think of it, Phil hasn't provided evidence of that either. Huh. It's almost like he just says things and then never offers proof of it. Odd. Anyway, that'll do it for this one. The first half of which I streamed in a members-only stream. It's available for members now on the live portion of my channel, so if you haven't seen it and it interests you, go ahead, give it a watch. Speaking of members, a big shout out to the newbies, neophytes, and the almighty gym rats. I appreciate you all, as well as a big shout out to Snort Hogan for the clip. Until next time, soul's the goal for a troll. Lift heavy, eat clean. And hey, Phil supporters, you dents, you know, if you ever watched my channel, even to hate watch it, that's entertainment that you're getting out of it. So even if you don't like the fact that I rip on Phil, you could donate to